What do we now know about how these 5 women managed to escape from their handler?
The Football Association and the Players Associations and everyone have been really careful because we've all been through this before. We went through it with the Afghan national team. This is, a not irregular occurrence, sadly. And so everyone understands that anything that's said or anything that's revealed about what's going on behind the scenes can actually put the athletes at greater risk. There were 2 parties that had a duty to intervene at some point. That is the Asian Football Confederation. And what you've seen is strong advocacy from all of us in the last few days to try and force them to intervene. They don't typically intervene, they and FIFA, because of sport politics. It's really simple. It's very difficult to get sport governing bodies to actually protect their players because they're more concerned about their political relationships with the Iranian Federation. This is just a fact of sport politics at the global level. And therefore, something else needed to be done. The Australian government was aware there was a very serious, even legal duty of care, because now we're talking about potential forced trafficking, forced removal of these women from Australia, coercion, and all of these things which are possible violations of Australian law. So ultimately, the Australian government had to put itself and its officials in a position for some or all of the players to be able to be advised of their rights.
Could you explain for us what could actually happen to these women when they return home to Iran?
The reason that we are gravely concerned for their safety is because there is a documented history of persecution of Iranian athletes who've spoken out against the government. And I've personally worked on a number of those campaigns, including Navid Afkari, who was an athlete who was incarcerated, tortured and ultimately executed. This is not something new. Sport and politics are effectively the same thing, and this team has been used as political pawns from the very moment that they arrived in Australia. But all national teams are tools of the country, not just to compete, but to represent what the country thinks is right or wrong or the way that they should conduct themselves. And we should be very careful to make sure that the only consideration now and in future is the well-being of this entire group. Everyone should realise that this has only just begun for these women. This is like a really, really serious situation. It's so heartwarming to see the support from Australia for the team. And when Australia decides to help people, we really are an extraordinary place. All I would ask for people right now is to realise that this is not going away. These women need support, and the remaining group need advocacy now to ensure that they're not returned against their will back to an environment where their lives may be threatened.